house.
What's going on?
Your father, Jacob Holbrook. When was the last time you spoke to him?
When I was 10 years old.
I'm confused. I thought your parents died in a car accident.
That's what I told you.
Your cast is phenomenal. The stars must have aligned for you to get all of these fantastic actors available with only 37 days in production. You must have felt like you won the lottery.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, obviously casting is everything, and you need the people who are the people, you know, who really embody the characters so that the movie works. And we were incredibly lucky. Everybody that we had, from like the obviously Daisy Ridley and Ben Mendelsohn, to Gil Birmingham, to Brooklyn Prince, who plays the young Daisy, the young Helena, to even this little girl who plays Daisy Ridley's daughter, Joey Carson, who's 5 years old. It was just like we found all the right people.
I want to talk about Daisy's performance in this because she's able to emote without having to say anything. And then the physicality that came along with this role. Can you talk to me about her performance? Was there something that surprised you once she was on camera as Helena?
Yeah, well, yes, I think Daisy has this real, well, you know what, I guess what surprised me was that the mystery that Daisy had on camera, that's kind of the restraint and the subtlety that made you kind of lean in and try to kind of look into her eyes and find more. And that is so perfect for a character that has a secret, that's hiding something, which what her character does. So that I was like, you know, as a director, you're so gratified when you see more, when the actors take what you've given them and then they just take it to an even better place.
Jacob Holbrook, the so-called Marsh King, abducted Beth Erickson and held her for 12 years in the wilderness with the daughter she gave birth to while in captivity.
Hope I'm not trespassing or anything.
We have to go, please. Stop! Father! I think he's coming for me.
The Marsh is also another character in this film, and I can imagine filming on location in some of the remote parts of Ontario must have been challenging with a short production schedule, and then also having an 11-year-old Brooklyn Prince who is always a star on screen. But I would love for you to speak about how working in this type of environment, how did it push you to become even better at your craft?
Well, it was really tricky and grueling and difficult locations to get to. And we were looking for kind of this pristine, primal nature, and we found it, but it was tough. And I think what happens in those situations is that you're suddenly left with less time. There's problems that happen, weather happens, you know, and so you're really having to think on your feet, and all your best laid plans about a shot that you want to begin here and then crane up and go over there. It's like, no, forget it. Can't do that. We just need to try to get this. And so then you're like, well, okay, then still, what's the most inventive way? What's the most interesting way? What's the best way to capture this scene? Even it's going to be different from what we intended. So, you know, it really makes you think on your feet to find something interesting. And maybe it turns out to be more interesting than the idea that you originally planned. That becomes more effective and more emotional or suspenseful or intense.
He gave me this after my first kill. These were the only tears my father ever wanted to see.
You'll always be my little shadow.
Now I realized the person I believed in the most was really a monster.
This means we're family.
I want to continue this Brooklyn Prince conversation because I've loved her and everything that I've watched her. Obviously, the Florida Project, and then the lead in I think it was Home After Dark. She was so good in that. Can you talk to me about working with such a little professional, and you know what you were able to capture on the screen with Brooklyn?
Well, I mean, it was incredible working with Brooklyn. She was 10 years old, actually, when we were shooting. And she, in a way, and this is not to say anything negative about the other, she was the most mature person on the set, because she was exceedingly mature and like thoughtful and interesting. And then she was just able to sort of unleash her acting as well, and really let herself go and work herself into something really intense, because in a way she's playing a wild animal. and she was really able to tap into that, and it was exciting to see. But then in the form of, she's not a stage kid in any way. She's actually she's just a really well-adjusted person who loves acting and has actually worked really hard on it and found a way into it that works for her, and that obviously works for us as well, because she's great.
I waited my whole life to see you again. I wasn't sure what I would feel when I did.
We can still all be a family.